Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to BJ Jones family. Thank you once more. Thank you for the returning subscribers and for the new subscribers as well. Welcome. Feel free to join this family. I know we are not many in this home, but we are coming and we are growing. We are becoming big family and we are growing by God's grace. Today's topic is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about. It's been really in me to talk about this, and I've been working hard to find the right words that I will not step out of God's order. And that's why I've been praying over and over this topic, because it's a sensitive topic that I'm going to have today. And I would love to use English, more especially for those who don't understand Swahili. And I've been mixing with Swahili a little bit where possible. For that reason, I'm going to start this if God allows me. If it is His will, I will start it this way. I will name the topic of today as the unlimited power of God. The unlimited power of God. And I'll be using verses as I talk about this issue. So there are the books that I have to quote for us to go and read. And I will have a story that I will begin using as I will be addressing the topic of today. And for that reason, today's topic comes from the story of the Israelites, the children of God who were in the wilderness. People of God who were in the wilderness, who were known as the Israelites. And when they cried for the problems and for the temptations and for the trials that they were going through in the wilderness, or rather in Egypt, God heard their cry and saw their pain and saw the weight that was heavy on them. And God wanted to lighten that weight. And so God went ahead and assigned someone whom we know and whom we've heard of him and we have read of him, who is Moses. And when God assigned Moses, Moses had done were things that were before men. The men could not imagine that God could use such person to go to that journey. But the Bible says that God uses the weak to outstrong the strong men of this earth. So God had to use Moses for him to be seen through Moses. The one whom was seen that is a nobody is the one that God used to show the children of Israel out of the wilderness. And welcome to the topic, and feel free to ask questions or to comment where possible. This is my journey, and this journey has not been bad at all. It has been a lesson learned the hardest way to a mankind, to any human being. And so this journey began 2018, August 31st, when I went out of my motherland, which is Kenya, to the Middle East, the part known as Bahrain, and that was my first time to enter into the Middle East. And the things that I'm going to talk about are the things that I went through personally, and I know many people are going through those things, and they have so many questions. They have prayed, they have questioned God, and they have gone to God with a lot of thoughts. Why are these things happening the way they are? So here comes me, entered Bahrain. It was on a faithful Sabbath. I think it was on a Sabbath that I traveled the first time. I got there on the same Sabbath, and when I got there, I rested on that night. I didn't do any work, but the following day in the morning, I began my duties as I had gone there as a domestic worker in Leila's family. The husband was Taha. The name was Taha. Yeah, the family of Taha and Leila. They had 4 kids. I have entered their family. They have shown me how to do my chores, and they have left for work. The first day, we didn't have a good encounter with my madam with the welcoming note. I should use that word. The way she welcomed me, she was a little bit tougher. I didn't get to understand that that is how people do with visitors, but that is how she welcomed me. I received a call from here to my parents were asking, confirming for me whether I got there safe, and they had to call, and that brought problem for me. So here the journey begins. They have left for work. I'm in the house. I'm new. I know nothing about the Middle East. I'm not that kind of person who watch news or listen to people's opinion. I don't do other people's opinion. I do me. I do I. The first time I was told I would work there and I accepted, my cousin who introduced me there is still in the Middle East at Qatar. She's still okay. She has not experienced the things that I experienced. So when I'm going to use this topic today, the unlimited power of God, I'm going to use this power for those people who, this topic, for those people who think that God is limited. For those people who are like me, thinking that God is limited. Here I come. A voice calls my name. My name is Doreen. I hear a voice calling my name. I'm busy ironing. I have done everything else. Now it's time for ironing. I'm ironing. And I hear something calling my name. And I'm new. No one knows me except the family. I introduced myself when I got there in the night. It was around at 10. I told them my names. So they were the only ones who knew me. And I hear someone calling me, and I was sure that no one was in the house. I had seen them off to school and to work, so I was the only one remaining in the family. But a voice is calling my name. I went around the house. I went to the rooms that I was shown that I can clean and do beds. I went to the rooms. I looked everywhere looking for the madam, thinking she's the one who's back in the house because the voice looked similarly like the voice I had she was using. I looked everywhere and no one was in the house. I went back. I continued with what I was doing. So friends, here comes the weather is changing. I got there the day that the weather was changing into another thing. It was another weather. Now it's coming to another weather. It was autumn. It was very hot, and it is turning into winter, I guess, because no, yeah, it was winter. I think it was summer because there was too much rain. Yeah, there was summer. I don't know about the weathers, but whoever knows about the weather, it was raining. After autumn, the rains started. So the rains began when I was there. It was my first week, and the rains began, and it rained heavy, that they even confessed to me that in the past 50 years it had never rained the way it rained that week. The rain took 3 cars from the estate where we were living and did a lot of damage in the town that we were. But luckily our homestead was safe. But they were telling me and showing me on television. I'm new. They are explaining themselves the way the life there is. I stayed there for 5 months, and the characters and the behaviors were unbearable. I left to the office. I asked for my agent to change me the house, but my madam came back for me at the office, and she went and reported me that I had escaped, and the police came for me, took me to the station, I signed some letters and she made me sign that I have to stay there until Ramadan is gone and then I can leave. So I had to stay there until Ramadan is gone. And after Ramadan, they left to Malaysia and they left me in the house without telling me anything. They took me to their mothers and they left me there and they left. Me expecting coming back or going to another house. But in the end, they left and they came back like after 10 days. After they came, they got back and they took me back from their moms and to the place where we were living at Hamad town. We went there, and the first week they came back, she was so furious to me. She began to show me characters that were not expected of me. Things she was showing me, they were things that I thought it is only Lucifer who could do those things. Imagining in my thoughts that Lucifer is the one who is evil, who can do such things. She began acting like a cobra. She could twist herself around the wall and turn like a snake and stand before me like this and mock me the way she wants to. She could call me names. I could even understand the words. She was using Arabic, but I could understand the words that she was using. So, this one became too much for me to bear. I sit under her on the dining table. She comes there, she starts acting weird, and I ask myself, why is this woman acting the way she's acting before me and not before the family? Whenever we are there with the whole family on the table, she behaves well. But when I'm alone, she behaves like she's something else. She's another creature. It reached to a point where I could see the husband's feet looking like a lion's feet. And I could ask myself, is this real? Am I hallucinating? Am I becoming sick? And I don't know, because the things that I was seeing were things that were not imaginable. They were things that you could not imagine that they were existing. But I saw all of those things with my bare eyes. I could hear my name being called, and whenever I could look for the person who was calling me, no one was there. I even injured my feet one day running up from the stairs down. After I reached the ground, I hit myself down because I was hearing the voices were too loud and there were too many, Doreen, Doreen! And I thought it was someone who was in danger. So I had to rush down and I fell down on the ground and I hit myself and boom, my feet was swollen. But luckily, one day I went, after the voices, I went to the roof of that house and I found birds, doves that were looking too old, like old women and old men, too old that I cannot explain myself the way the birds were looking. They were so ugly. They were not like normal birds. And they were in a nest that looked like had been there for ages. I tried cleaning that place, but it was still looking ugly. I tried chasing them away, but they were still coming back. And those were the things were calling my name. I confirmed it with my own ears and my own eyes. I reached there and I found them calling Doreen, Doreen. And I was like, how could these birds be calling my name? Yes, I know that there are things that do happen, but such things I never heard of them. They were things that I had heard of them, but these ones were new. So here comes where I ask a lot of questions. I'm not able to sleep. I've begun to do things that are evil. My body has changed. My body reaction is different. I cannot touch anything without having bad feelings. So it reached to a point where I said, enough is enough. I gotta go back. I have to go back. And I forced it out of them. I wrote so many letters to them and I left a copy with me. I dropped them the letters because they were not talking to me now. They had reached to a point that they didn't even want to see me. They were waking up early and leaving the house. And when they come and park out and go. So we lived like strangers in the same house. But it reached to a point where I said enough is enough. Now I wrote the last letter and I told them I have this and this in plan. And let me tell you the truth. I have bought a ticket and I'm going back. They didn't know that I had planned with my family to buy a ticket online. And I have the ticket and I'm leaving. And if I leave this family without you knowing, just be aware that I've been letting you know that I need to leave. I need to leave. I need to find my peace, because there is no peace in this family. And if there is no peace, your money has nothing to do with peace, because your money is not enough to buy my peace. And if this money cannot buy my peace, I rather go and find my peace elsewhere. So they thought that I was joking, but they saw me on the 1st of another August. Now it's another year. The same year, the next year, the same month, but the 1st of that August. So it was on the 1st. I have the ticket. My things are packed. I took the only things that I came with them, the ones that they had kept in a store. I went to the store. I took my luggage out. I kept it outside the door. I went and knocked the door and I told them I'm leaving. This is when they thought I was joking. But I had everything in plan. I had spoken with some of my friends and some of my family members, and they had planned a rescue team to come for me. So when they started to hesitate to take me to the airport, I called for the rescue team and they came in and they had to explain everything to them, and they showed the ticket to them, because the ticket was sent through one of them, and they showed it to them and they told them she has to go. And my boss noticed that this was it and it was the end. He had to call the mother to the madam, and the mother came and the brothers came. They tried to confuse me to stay, and I told them I can't stay. My peace is not in this place. So they urged my boss to escort me to the airport. He took me to the airport and I came back to Kenya. So why am I using my story to talk about the story of the children of Israel? Now comes a second time I'm going out of my home again to the Middle East. The lessons I learned in the first land I landed were not enough. And now again, the need of my belly is taking me out again. I never knew it wasn't it. It was God's plan to teach me what I needed to know, so I could share with you today, to know what you never knew or what you never expected that could be happening under the sun. This is reality. Things are happening. People are doing things. The devil is working hard on his side to take more people with him. So, where are you? Are you murmuring when you should be praising? Are you murmuring when you should be thanking God? Are you murmuring when you should be accepting what the Lord has kept for you in that way He has kept it? So this is how the children of Israel were murmuring. And this is how I was murmuring too. You may be murmuring the same way. You may be complaining when you should be praising. You may be accusing God of not knowing what He is doing when you should be allowing His will to be done in your life. So, brothers and sisters, today's topic is too close to me, and I know it should be your need to accept this topic to help you. Comes another nation, I'm out of control, I need to try again, and I'm willing. My spirit is willing, but the body is weak. The spirit leads the body, and now I go to Saudi Arabia. I get there, and I'm welcomed with the heavy blow of wind. And this blow of wind rose some questions in me. Is this land like this? Is this how this land receives the wind? Because I had never seen a heavy wind like that. We had, was it 97? Kulikuwa na kisulisuli. We had this that you call, I don't know how they call it, the tornadoes. This happened in other countries, but the one that happened in Kenya was not that heavy. But the tornadoes, but the one that came when I entered into that land shocked me, because it was lifting even carpets, heavy carpets, woolen carpets. It was lifting heavy things and throwing them away, blowing them away, not throwing, blowing. So this one came with another question: what goes on in this land? As young as I am in faith, I know nothing. I'm learning the hard way. You can imagine. You are young, you know nothing of the spiritual world. You are just the way you are. You were told once that you were young, an infant, and you need to be taught the lessons, and you never knew that that was the lane that the Lord was teaching you. And now you've come to that lane that you yourself, you swore to God that I'm ready, I'm willing to go, lead me. That I've decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to be his servant. I've decided to work for Jesus. But you never knew what was working for Jesus was. I have given you everything. I've given you my life. I have left my kingdom. I have come to this world. I have lived like a human being. I have lived and rejected. And I have done everything, even died on the cross for you. What have you done for me? Christ is asking, and you are here, you are saying, I will follow, without knowing, following Christ, what it means and how heavy it is. The children of Israel are crying out, God help us, God take us out of this land. They're asking for something that they didn't know how the process was gonna be. And here the journey begins. They have come a long way. They have reached to a place where they should find peace. They have reached to a land where they should have their own land and have their rest, but not knowing that here is the place that you have to go through for you to reach to the place that the Lord has kept in store for you. And here they come. They have been fed with manna, and they are tired of manna. They are crying out. They are even killing themselves, asking Moses, why did you bring us here? Why did you do this? Why did you allow us to go this? Why did you allow us to go through this? Why did your God do this to us? And Moses, forgetting that God is God, goes straight to God and asks God questions. Why did you allow this to happen? You allowed me to be mocked. You allowed me to be rejected with the people that loved me. You allowed this to happen to me, God. Why is this happening? And the topic comes from the book of Numbers 11:23. This is where I found my eye opener for today's topic. Numbers, but you can go and read Exodus 16 for further clarification on what I'm talking about the children of Israel, and also read this Numbers 11. It will also help you. But the main topic comes from it in Numbers 11:23. And now after Moses has gone and complained before God, let me tell you, anyone else can be complaining before God and God will let it go. But God's servants complaining before God, God's anointed complaining before God becomes another thing. I've landed in a place where I have no idea of the things that are happening. The snakes all over. I'm killing snakes from one day to another day. I'm seeing things that are not normal things. People are dying before my eyes, in my thoughts, in my spirit, and in my mind. And I'm going to God, asking God, why did you allow me to come back to this land? After what I went through in Bahrain, you still went ahead and you allowed me to suffer back at home. And I had the urge of still coming to this land. And now see, God, I'm going to die here in Saudi Arabia. I have died. I've tasted death. And you have been there seeing what I'm going through. And now, after complaining, God is coming to me. And listen to what God is going to talk to Moses after hearing Moses complaining before his ears. Moses has gone to God and asked God why he did all what he did. Let's look at what Moses is trying to explain to God. Moses is trying to open God's eyes, like he even thought that maybe God was asleep and he wasn't thinking or seeing what is going on. And he is even asking, like, you shall, he's even asking, and Moses said, the people whom I am among are 600,000 men of foot. When we want to look into what the Moses uh, words were, and when we want to go deep in it, these men, the 600 men on foot, meant that they were soldiers of war. They were men of strength that were around him, that were murmuring, that were crying out, that were complaining of manna being the only food that they are eating. Uh, the diet that God gave out was not the balanced diet that they expected, since they had tested the balanced diet in the middle, yeah, Egypt is in the Middle East. They had tested that. They now want, no, Egypt is not in the Middle East. Forgive me for looking at it in that way, because it's in Africa. But let me say this. Now I'm talking about the Middle East. Now I've gotten there. The same thing that I went through in the first round I went to the Middle East, it is worsening. Now it is tripling or even quadrupling. In my mind, I am seeing the same thing happening and worsening, and I'm asking, why is this happening? It is like they are the same people around me. They are the same people went after me. The people that I ran from are the same people coming after my life. And I'm asking God, why is this happening? Moses is asking, these are the people that are around me, the 600,000 men of foot. God, yet you have said, I will give them meat that they may eat for a whole month. Can you feed them? Can you manage these people? Can you battle these people for me? Can you come and overweigh their strength? Are you able to fight the universe? Are you able, God? This is Moses asking God. Are you able to battle the universe? Because now it is the universe over my life. Shall the flocks and the herds be slaughtered for them to provide enough for them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to provide enough for them? This is now Moses through me. This is me as Moses asking God. Now watu Saudi Arabia yote imeamka, imekuwa against me. Those strong men, those evil men that are practicing whatever they are practicing, whoever that has sworn to define me, whoever that has sworn to deceive me and change my faith and change the way I look to God, they are after me. Are you able? Are you going to feed these people? Are you going to battle these people for me? Asking God that question, God comes with an answer to me in 23. And the Lord said to Moses, and the Lord said to Doreen, I am with you, and I will be with you to the end of the journey. But this is the answer Moses was given from God, that I am. And the Lord said to Moses, he asked Moses, this was a question towards Moses. This is God asking me. God is asking that, has Lord's arm been shortened? Is God's arm short to act to your needs? Is God's arm weakened? Is God's arm lessened before you? Is his power limited that he cannot fight your battles, that he cannot overweigh your enemies and put them aside and allow you go through whatever you're going through? The Lord goes down and says, see whether what I say will happen to you or not. The Lord is asking those who are committing suicides in the Arab country and those who are committing suicide back here in our home or all over the world, whoever that is seeing that the battle is too heavy for the Lord to fight, the Lord is asking you whether his power is limited, whether his power is limited to battle for you. And if there is any other power above him, God is asking, wait and see. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened. You've read it many times and you use it daily when you go before God, when you're praying. You preside it before him. You meditate through it. But when the battle, when the storm, when the enemies stand before you, when those giants face you, you are shaken. This is what the devil does. He puts fear in you. The moment he sucks in fear in you, and the sucking sucks the bone marrows of your bones, that is when the enemies overweigh you. But when the Holy Spirit takes place, when the Holy Spirit takes control, you can never be afraid of the devil. You can never be afraid of his plan. You can never be afraid of what he has in store for you. Here comes Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabians are beating their chest hard. They're trying to show me how they know, how they do. They're even making things before my eyes to see that they are powerful. They're so powerful, they even know how to create things. They even created snail shells. You see the snail shells, they created them, very giant of them, very crystal. They're trying to show me how powerful they can be. But the good Lord that kept his word in me, that I am with you, still reminds me that I am with you. And the good Lord that began the battle, the good Lord that began the journey from Israel, from Egypt, he has to bring you out of Egypt and keep you in the place where you belong, where he has kept in store for you. So, brothers and sisters, whenever you're facing your giants, whenever you're facing your problems, remember the Lord of the Israelites, the one who fed them that the meat even came out of their nostrils. When I read the story of the Israelites, whenever I go through the story of Job, whenever I see how John went through hell just to have Christ in him, I find peace in my heart. Even without money, even without a penny in my pocket, I still buy peace from him. I know there are many people today are going to give up. They have seen things that have changed their thinking, their believing, their faith has been wavered. But remember this. These are the powerful words that I want you to remember, that the Lord is not lessened in any way. No matter what you're going through, that will not say that God is lesser for you to go and do things that are bad. And another thing, please be mindful of your complaints whenever you complain before God, more especially if you are a servant of God. And this proves to me that the Lord's hands are not weakened in any way because of your complaints. And also the Lord's arm is not powerless because of the problems that you're going through. And another thing, no matter how they laugh at you, no matter how they mock you, the Lebanese bosses that I found the last trip I went to the Middle East, they were even mocking me through the things that the Lord has kept in my hands. The Lord has blessed me so much that there are skills that I have that I'm not using. So they were using them to mock me, to make me feel that the Lord that I serve is lesser. But I thank him because he chose me and I didn't choose him. He kept his word and he kept reminding me that he is still in control and he will forever be in control. So, what is it that is making God less in your life? What is it that is making God be questioned of your faith? What is it that the devil is pressuring you with? What is that thing that the devil is doing that is putting pressure on you, that is making you question your heart, question your faith, question your spirit, question your bones? That what are we looking up for? Are we looking up for death, or are we waiting for the death to find us? Let me tell you, dying is not something that you should be afraid of. I'm never afraid of death ever since 2021 to date. There before, I used to fear death. I can even open a notebook where I wrote in the year 2000, where I wrote that I will not die until God comes back, because I was afraid of death. I never knew that God has plans for us every day. And the plans that he has for us are the plans that will stand, and they are the plans that will work. So whatever the devil is doing, he is powerless. He is limited. The devil is limited. Oh, all right. I was going to use my mother tongue. There's this term that I love to use. This man, this he is a man that I cannot compare with men. I don't know whether you're getting that. He is a man of his own stature. I don't compare God with any man. I don't, men of men, not men as humans. No, men who were created before women. They're not the ones that I can never compare with God. So I can't compare anything with God. God has remained to be God in my life. The things that he is doing every day in my life, the things that he's showing me every day, are the things that are of hope for his eternity. So, brothers and sisters, no matter what you're going through, remember that God's power is not limited to come and to rescue you. Always believe in his word, always trust in him, and be obedient to his word, and always observe the rules and the conditions that he keeps on your way. Follow his steps and he will lead you to eternity. Msije mkajifunza mambo ya ulimwengu huu, msije mkakuwa entangled na ulimwengu, because that is what the devil wants us to do. He wants us to be entangled with this earth. He wants us to be entangled with his actions and his thoughts and his ways. But let me tell you, the moment utapoteza utukufu wa Mungu, the moment his face goes off your side and he shows you his back, remember that death will not be a problem to you, but perishing will be a terrifying problem to you. Maana utaupoteza ufalme wa Mungu na mengine yote. So should you choose peace of this world or the peace of eternity? God bless you. Welcome to this channel. Subscribe, like, comment, and share to many people who are in need of this encouragement. And remember, these things were there. They are here and they will forever be there till God comes back and do away with these things. God bless you. Love you so much. Bye.